Hi guys, it's Dinosaur Friend, and it's time for another Let's All Play Pokemon X and Y. So this week we're going to do another one of those Pokemon analyzations, and this week my opponent will be Jack. And, you know, I am once again using my blue team, like I like to call it, just because a lot of these Pokemon that are on this team have been used by the Pokemon trainer Blue from Generation 1 and, you know, Generation 2, if you count that. But, anyways, I do want to make a note about the teams. Jack's team does seem to be a little geared towards OU/Ubers. We'll see in the battle why I decide to kind of push it into that realm, but it's more of the higher tier Pokemon, whereas mine is on the lower end of OU and kind of dancing between underused as well. So his team does have an advantage in terms of kind of how tier goes, but sometimes you don't really necessarily have to go by tier because tiers sometimes don't matter. It's really how you use your Pokemon. But this week's Pokemon that we're going to be analyzing is Umbreon, possibly one of my favorite EV evolutions after Jolteon. Jolteon's actually my favorite, but Umbreon is definitely second place just because, I don't know, it looks cool and it's a very tanky Pokemon as you can see from its stats, but I kind of use Umbreon as a Cleric, but it does have a slight niche going against physical Pokemon. Any Pokemon that has strong physical attack and low defenses, Umbreon can actually take out, even one-hit kill, just because it has an ability or a move called Foul Play, which uses the attacker's attack stat to deal damage instead of its own, because its own attack stat, oh man, that is just pathetic. Sorry, Umbreon, but your attacks are pathetic. But defensively, Umbreon is a beast. Only has a few weaknesses, you know, to Fairy, Bug, and Fighting, but, you know, it can really just help out the team when, you know, the others are hurting, because I have moves on it such as Wish and Heal Bell, and, you know, when status moves or any other Pokemon takes a hard hit, Umbreon can actually save them from the brink of death, which is nice. Very nice. But a lot of people don't expect from this Umbreon is just getting hit by it, which is hilarious. So we're gonna see that in this game. But anyways, quick introduction to the team. Azelf is the lead. Arcanine's a physical sweeper. Blastoise is a tank/rapid spinner. Heracross is a revenge killer / late game sweeper, physical also. And then Nidoking is the special attacker. And then Umbreon is the cleric. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and get this battle started. So anyways, Jack is issuing a challenge. So let's see, he goes ahead and sends out his Excadrill, which is apparently his kind of a lead Pokemon. Excadrill is actually in the Ubers tier just because of its special abilities, and Mold Breaker, meaning that it can Rapid Spin without fearing of getting blocked by ghosts, because you can't use Rapid Spin if there's ghosts around. But I go ahead and use a Taunt, but I think Jack was anticipating this and goes for a Rock Slide, and I'm like, oh gosh, this sucks. So I go for a Stealth Rock, you know, just get Azelf's job done, just set up rocks and be good with it. But Excadrill continues using Rock Slide, trying to hit Azelf hard. I don't know why it isn't using any of its other attacks. But anyways, I go ahead and send out a Fire Blast and deal a lot of damage to Excadrill. But Excadrill goes ahead and uses Rapid... Oh, there we go. It has Rapid Spin. That's why I probably wasn't using it. But goes ahead and uses Rapid Spin and gets away with the freaking rocks. And I go ahead and set up rocks again because I really need rocks out. Azelf's job is to get rocks out and then die, and then let the rest of the team do its job. So that's what it does. It does it successfully, and I go ahead and send out Zuko, who is my Arcanine. I don't think Arcanine has actually seen action yet on my channel, but I go ahead and send Arcanine out, and Excadrill's attack falls, and I was confident that I can take it out with a Flare Blitz and be dealing with the freaking Excadrill. Go away, Excadrill. Ah, gosh. My mind is not correct for casting today, but we are going to go ahead and do it anyways. So, Zuko takes a bit of a Life Orb damage just because it's a Life Orb user. Zuko hits really hard with freaking Life Orb. It's unbelievable how hard it hits. So then again, Jack goes ahead and sends out Picasso. I believe Picasso is his Baton Passer. Most Smeargles are Baton Passers using Shell Smash and Focus Sash so it can pass something. But unfortunately, Stealth Rocks does inhibit its use of Focus Sash, so it wasn't able to get off what it wanted to do here. So unfortunately for Picasso, it couldn't do anything here. So Now Jack goes ahead and sends out his Gengar. Gengar is a very powerful threat. It's high special attack, high speed, and it's just scary to deal with. And it goes ahead and Mega Evolves into Mega Gengar, who is actually in Ubers. You can't actually use Mega Gengar in OU just because it is so unbelievably broken. It's basically gonna guarantee a kill or two actually. That's why it's limited to the Ubers. It's pretty much guaranteed a kill or two or three or a lot because it's just so dang powerful, and you can't switch out. When you send a Pokemon in, you cannot switch out because it has a special ability. So I go ahead and send out Mai, who is my Umbreon, just because it's dark and I know it's tanky, and I didn't really want to send out anyone else at the risk of getting killed by this thing because this thing is just beastly. So I go ahead and send out my tank, obviously, and it's a dark Pokemon, which is good against ghosts, and, you know, it can pretty much tank anything that this Gengar has. So go ahead and use Foul Play twice, which it's a move that uses the attack stat to hurt the enemy instead of my own attack stat. So I don't know how high Mega Gengar's attack stat is, but it's probably a lot higher than Umbreon's, just because Umbreon's is kind of pathetically low. So Jack goes ahead and sends out his Gengar after sends out his Breloom after his Gengar goes down, and I go ahead and switch out my Umbreon because I know I cannot deal with fighting moves. Fighting moves they're just gonna take down Umbreon very quickly. So I go ahead and send out Hercule in hopes of doing something here, but unfortunately Breloom has Spore, probably the most annoying sleep-inducing move in the game, just because it has a 100% hit rate. But unfortunately for Spore, not a lot of Pokemon hold it, and the ones that do aren't very fast, so not many Pokemon can pull it off. Breloom is one of the only ones that can successfully pull off a Spore set. So that's what Jack does here, and I unfortunately try to keep Hercule in to wake it up so I can hit back really hard, just because I know Hercule has moves that can just devastate Breloom. But unfortunately, after that Swords Dance, Hercule is just gonna take a lot of pain here, even though all these attacks are of neutral are of not very effectiveness, but unfortunately Spore just sucks. Being asleep just sucks. So that move hit 5 times and Hercule ends up fainting, unfortunately. So I go ahead and send out Blastoise in hopes of getting a Dragon Tail off, because Blastoise is my phaser, and I go ahead and Mega Evolve it just because, you know, Blastoise is tankier with the Mega Evolution. So unfortunately, Breloom is faster than Blastoise and goes ahead and uses another Spore. I was actually hoping for my Blastoise to be quicker than the Breloom, but, you know, this is probably a Jolly Breloom, which probably has an increased attack stat and speed. My Blastoise is only a Modest, so it does not have the increase in speed. So unfortunately, the Bullet Seed ends up taking out my Blastoise just because Breloom is so freaking powerful and Grass is super effective against water. So now that Blastoise has fainted, it's kind of like sad days for me. So I go ahead and send out my Nidoking. And Nidoking is actually able to outspeed Breloom just because my Nidoking is a timid Nidoking. It's actually maxed EV, max IV on speed, as well as having a positive nature on speed. So it's probably the fastest possible Nidoking out in terms of stats. And Jack goes ahead and sends out his Nidoking, which is a shiny Nidoking. And interestingly enough, it is also fastest Nidoking around. Top IV, top EVs, and likely a timid nature. So unfortunately, Nidoking goes down after a critical hit of an Ice Beam, and that's just unfortunate. Right here, I think I was thinking to myself, oh man, I probably just lost the game here because I still have to deal with this Dragonite, which is going to be very, very difficult. And I sent out Umbreon to use some foul play against Nidoking because Nidoking actually has an increased attack stat in Pokemon X and Y. In Generation 5 and below, it had, I believe, a 92 attack stat. Now it has a 102 attack stat. So foul play is just made slightly more effective against Nidoking. So yeah. Anyways, I go ahead and use Wish here for Umbreon just because I needed to get a heal up. I knew that if I was going to stand a chance against Dragonite, I needed to heal up. So I use Wish and Protect in order to heal myself, which is kind of nice. Protect is kind of a nice move in general. It can kind of scout out a lot of moves, and it can also stall for healing, and it can also help recovery moves like Wish for users like Umbreon. So Nidoking, unfortunately, can't do much against Umbreon just because Umbreon is it can just absorb special attacks like crazy. And all day. And since Nidoking doesn't have a healing move, it goes down after taking repeated hits from foul play. You know, kind of unfortunate, but the threat that I was worried about the most right now is probably this Dragonite. I know that Dragonites are just scary in general. They have very diverse movesets, and I was fearing a superpower from this Dragonite. But unfortunately for Jack, it did not hold a superpower, which is good for me. And I go ahead and use foul play, and since Dragonite has a massive attack stat, it goes down in one freaking hit. So anyways, that's the battle. So as we saw in this battle, Umbreon is a very unique Cleric. I often find myself debating between Blissey and Umbreon for the role of Cleric on teams. Unlike Blissey, Umbreon can actually tank physical moves and special moves at the same time, which gives it high utility as a Cleric. Blissey, on the other hand, deals more consistent damage with Seismic Toss and Toxic, but is extremely vulnerable to fighting and physical moves. The choice between two Clerics in the end is really up to preference and team synergy. However, Umbreon can hit extremely hard depending on situation, and we saw it knock out 3 Pokemon in this battle single-handedly. Anyways, thank you for playing with me, Jack. So if you guys like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for more info on the Let's All Play series. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I shall see you guys on the next one.